Hey, what's up, everyone, on the SRL 180 YouTube channel? And tonight we are doing an SRL Fight Night preview, and I'm here with Jackson Allison, Joshua Butterfield, and Jack O'Neill. How are we, lads?
Very good.
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on.
No problems. And unfortunately tonight we have Tim James could not be here tonight. Yeah, well, I think I don't know where he is, but he couldn't be here tonight. If he pops on, he pops on. So, yeah, let's get into it. Previewing the fights. So the first fight we're gonna preview is the Collins v Bell one. What is your thoughts on this one, Jack?
Yeah, man, this is a good way to start a podcast like this with one that's going to divide a lot of opinions because, they're two of the most active people in the Discord and they're also two of the most heated rivals. So I'm pretty excited for this one, actually. Jai's trained mainly in wrestling, whereas Corey Bell has really focused on his kickboxing. So it'd be interesting to see how those two styles match up.
Yeah. So, have you got anything that you like that you think on this? Is there anything that you expect from this fight?
A lot of fireworks, man. I think that there won't be much of a feeling out process knowing these two. They're just going to get straight into it and go at it. I'm really excited to see how they handle each other's styles. Like Jai Collins, the worst thing he can do for himself is not throw strikes. Because he's focused a lot on wrestling. He can't just rely on his wrestling because Corey Bell will know that and he'll be able to defend those takedowns. And what else can Jai Collins throw at him? So he needs to make sure he can box and break down Bell and then shoot for those takedowns. So.
Collins probably beating Bell in the weight portion. He's a big man. He plays second row in his spare time. But yeah, with kickboxing, you've always he's going to want to be keeping his distance. Whereas Jai's going to want to get real close and personal with Bell. And I think that's possibly where he might go undone there, Collins.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. I think they've got very similar reach. I think Bell might just outdo him a bit in reach. He's got a really diverse kicking game as well. Like he's got a whole lot of different kicks that he can throw out there, try and break down Collins and keep him at distance. So and a lot of different targets too, which is important. So definitely look out for that from Corey as well.
In my opinion, I know Jai. I've been training with Jai a bit. As a fighter, I know Jai's really been focusing on. I know Jai's been really, really good with his He's been practicing for Corey Bell to try and he's reaching, like Corey Bell trying to kick him. So he's been practicing on trying to stop Corey Bell, if he wants to kick him. So I think it's a good thing for Collins. It could be good for Collins if he can stop Bell's kicks. I think Collins has got a huge up on Corey if he can stop Corey's kicks.
Yeah, that's really where it's gonna come down to. He's got to check all his kicks, leg kicks especially. Leg kicks in MMA are so important. And Corey Bell's definitely focused on them a lot more than Collins. So if Collins can't shut them down, it's going to be a lot harder for him to shoot for takedowns and just move in general if he's been copping leg kicks the whole fight. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point there.
It's just about sticking to your teachings and sticking to your game plan. And that's really hard when you're in the ring or in the octagon with somebody that you really don't get along with, because it's really easy to just let that passion boil over and just want to throw hands. And I think that whoever can, manage their temperament and manage the event the best will come out on top.
I think the patience, whoever wins the patience battle will just be the one that wins it in this fight. I think that they have a natural hate for each other. And it's going to be, I expect some absolute huge punches from Collins. And if Collins can stay close with Bell, I think Collins has got a pretty easy win on him.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is Corey Bell. He sure does know how to frustrate Jai Collins. If there's one thing that we know for sure. So I think that if Collins can just manage his emotions and manage the fight, then he should come out on top. But I wouldn't. Corey Bell, he's motivated. Like, he doesn't have a club. Nobody wants him at the moment. As rough as that sounds, so he's going to be really, really, really motivated to get that win and to prove to all the club, he can still do something for your club. So.
Is there any is there any report on what's happening to Corey Bell? Like, if he does not get signed in this free agency too?
I suppose he'll just fight. Sorry, not fight. He'll just
Go to the mines.
Yeah, essentially, he'll just have to play in the minor leagues till someone picks him up. But that's wouldn't be the worst thing for him.
I'm hearing like maybe he's going to be forced. Like he's going to be forced onto an SRL club. Maybe Comish will just put him on an SRL club that can bid a goal back, and you won't have a choice.
Again, I don't necessarily think that's the best thing, because I think Corey needs an environment where he's wanted for his own sake, and a club wants to have all those players there. But with that being said, going to a club that he needs to prove himself at might be the best thing for Corey as well, motivation wise. He's definitely motivated for this fight, so I don't think that he will go to a club and not be motivated. I think that whatever club picks him up, he'll do well for.
Like, he is a very consistently, and I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. He's a very consistent and a pretty high class winger. He was just really outshined really when on the Manly team you've got KCK on the other one, who's just a better winger. He honestly is just one of the best wingers in the comp, and it's hard to really shine when you got that on the opposing wing, really.
I don't disagree with that, to be honest. And the other thing is too...
Sorry, being a bit late.
No, good, brother.
We're talking about the Collins-Bell fight?
Yeah. That's the first fight that we've been talking about. We were just talking about Bell's position in the SRL at the moment. But what I was going to say too is, look at his rating. At the end of the day, he's a goal player, and if a goal player is playing fullback for your club, then that's good. That's a good thing.
I think his days at fullback are done.
Yeah, I think he's better on the wing. Is it? Yeah.
I don't disagree with that either.
Because all the other starting fullbacks are higher rated than him. I'm pretty
sure. I don't even think that's true. I think he's actually higher rated than some. He's higher rated than Herburn.
Mark Irons also a silver, I believe.
Mark Iron too. He's higher rated than Mark Iron, but he doesn't play. I don't think he's better than either of them two.
No.
That's the thing. I think he's not good enough to play on the fullback. I think his days at fullback are done, and he's got to play wing. So he'll be motivated, that's for sure. Are you ready to move on to the next fight?
Yeah, man. I think we went on the Corey Bell train. Yeah, predictions are important, actually. Good call, Jacko. I'll let you boys go first, so that I don't influence your decisions. So it's a 5-round fight, just so you know.
What's that? I don't know anything about fighting.
So essentially, it's a 5-round fight, and they can win by knockout, submission, or decision. So decisions where it goes the distance, and the judges make the call. Knockout, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, take your pick. And submission, same deal. They get choked out or armbar, they break the arm or anything like that.
So what's strong in the Bell?
I'm gonna go Jai Collins first round knockout.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go Bell 4th round submission.
Wow, that's a big call.
Yeah. Wait, so what's throwing in the towel? Is that submission?
That's submission.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Bell by decision. There you go.
I can't actually remember what my prediction was in the podcast. I think I went Collins round 4 submission, and I think I'll stick with that. I think he'll wear him down, pick his shots well, and then he'll wrestle him and get the win.
Oh, Bell's got the bigger body, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Bell's smaller, isn't he?
Weight-wise, I believe that Bell is smaller than Collins. However, I think that Collins is realistically a bit fitter Bell's realistically a bit fitter than Collins, just because he plays the fullback and wing position compared to sort of a second row center. So, but that to some extent does give the advantage to Collins, because having that weight advantage when you're trying to wrestle someone is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Right, what's the next fight, boys?
Next fight.
Malchus
v Nenai.
Big one.
Heavyweight championship on the line.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, and I said it on the podcast today, like, Malchus is much bigger than Nanai. He's got a much bigger weight and reach advantage. However, he is a bit slower, whereas Nanai's very silky, and they both got enormous power. So I wonder how much that speed advantage is going to play into the fight.
What's their archetypes?
They're both boxers. They've both been training
both boxers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see a knockout in this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't see a Malchus knockout. I think Nenai's will be too durable to be able to knock out. If I was gonna say a knockout, I'd see it being Nenai knocking out Malchus, but I don't think Malchus will be able to knock out Nenai just because of how silky he is.
I think sorry, go on, man.
Oh, sorry. Like you were saying, Jack, Malchus is big, but he's really, like you were saying, he was slow. And I think that's where Nanai is going to really get out, because, really win it, is his speed, because you said they both got some really powerful punches, and I think Nanai is going to be able to dodge more and hit quicker than Malchus will be, and I think that will be the ultimatum in the end.
Yeah, and I think that if Malchus is to win this fight, he has to knock him out in the first 1 to 2 rounds, because if not, I don't think his cardio can keep him going for a full fight. And I think that's when you'll see the best out of John Nanai, because for the especially first round, you'll see Malchus. My game plan for Malchus would be to keep Nanai at range and just break him down with his reach. But as the fight goes on, he'll slow down. Nanai will get more opportunities to get on the inside and cause some damage. So he's got to end it early if he's going to win this, Malchus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, these two are both. Malchus is an ex-captain for the Cowboys, and Nanai is the Warriors captain. So should be interesting. Couple of captains and a forward pack going head-to-head. So
yeah, you'll never see two more hardworking blokes either. Like, they're gonna, that they're both gonna come in fit. There's no doubt about that. They wouldn't have knocked off this off season. They both finished outside of the finals and they got straight into training. So they've had more preparation than a lot of the fighters on this card. So
Malchus might be looking to get back for that 54-6 win as well. Bit of revenge.
54-6 is just embarrassing for the club, and I think that's something that the Cowboys really he may especially because Nenai was the one. I think if Malchus may want a bit of a revenge just because of what Nenai and the Warriors did to them. I mean, the Warriors absolutely bullied them.
Well, and then to go further into that, sorry, mate, but Nanai also completely embarrassed Malchus. He dominated him in the forwards. He was they were opposing front rowers, so he could find motivation from that as well.
If Malchus got huge motivation to beat Nanai, hasn't he?
Oh, you have to, but you also, if you're trying to find motivation from rugby league in a fight, at the end of the day, that's pretty concerning, because you need to find that motivation just for wanting to win. Essentially, you need to find motivation by being there, by training. That's where you need to find most of your motivation by.
Yeah,
it's interesting because Malchus is going to the Raiders, so it's a fresh new start for him as well. So he'll be looking to impress his teammates.
Definitely, especially coming from a struggling club.
Tips on predictions, I guess.
I'm gonna go Nenai. What are the things again? Subduction is the thing where you
get submission.
Submission is what's that thing? Is that
where you throw out basically?
Throw him out.
Where you give up basically.
And what's the other one?
Knockout and decision.
decisions where the
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Nanai
Umpire side.
round 3 knockout.
I'm going to go with Liam round 3 knockout, Nanai.
I think this will be a submission. I'm going to go Nanai in the 4th round submission.
I've got Nanai in the 4th round as well, but I've got him winning by a TKO, so a technical knockout. I think that he'll deliver a lot of punishment to Malchus. I don't think he'll drop Malchus. I think that the ref will call a stoppage once Malchus sustains too much damage.
What's the difference between TKO and KO?
So essentially, TKO is where he hasn't been fully knocked out. The referee stopped it, or he's given up, but it isn't by submission. If that makes sense. So if he's taken too many leg kicks and he breaks a leg, then that's a TKO. That's a technical knockout because he isn't out.
All right.
Do you want to go on to the next fight now?
Yep.
The next fight is Reynolds versus Vredo.
Big one for you, Liam.
Reynolds.
One of your teammates.
Yep. A lot of Rabbitohs boys are on the card, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just how it worked out, to be honest. But I'm glad to see them because they're some of the biggest characters in the game, so it's good to have them on the card.
Yeah.
I think that this fight's important for Vredo because if Vredo wins this fight, essentially he's the middleweight champion. We've got 3 champions decided, but he's not fighting a middleweight, he's fighting at heavyweight, and he's fighting a pretty decent heavyweight, with that being said as well, in Cameron Reynolds. So.
Why does Reynolds look so small on the card? Reynolds looks pretty small compared to Vredo.
I think it's just the pictures, man.
Well, this is the 2 biggest men in the SRL, isn't it?
Reynolds is very big.
Yeah. I think it's just because they're 2 big men, Liam. They've just got to shrink it.
Yeah, it's just the way it's formatted, essentially, so they can both fit on it properly.
Reynolds putting Bye Ranger on there too.
Yeah.
Mind games, man. Like, that's a big part of fighting, getting in your opponent's head. It's important.
Yeah. To put that much dedication into one fight, tattoo yourself for one fight, unless he decides to fight all the rangers in the SRL. A lot of dedication.
Man, if he loses this fight, it's going to be a real awkward trip to the tattoo removalists.
Yeah.
I wonder if you get a tattoo for every fight too. You know, like just for each opponent. That'd be pretty sick to see, to be honest.
Or I mean, some other fighters they got their names on their like tattoo, but I think Reynolds would be the most taunting in some sense. So, Connor's got the bunny and then his initials, but Liam's got the lamb. But yeah,
I didn't even ask for the lamb, but I just got it.
But actually talking about this fight, what do we reckon is going to happen?
Well, Reynolds has got that big height and reach and weight advantage over Vredo, but he's training wrestling, Reynolds boxing. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 those styles clash with each other. I think Reynolds has got a pretty clear game plan, and that's just don't let Vredo take you down, pick him off with your reach, chop him down, and try and finish the fight.
Who's the quicker one out of the 2?
Or I'm not sure. They'd be pretty similar. Reynolds has had to cut a lot of weight to reach the catch weight because they are at a catch weight, more towards the heavyweight side, but they still are at a catch weight.
What does that mean?
So the catch weight's essentially a weight that you've decided on that's sort of in between 2 weight divisions so that you can fight. So Vredo's usually middleweight, Reynolds is usually a heavyweight. So we found sort of a catch weight in between the 2 that they can meet at to fight this fight. So.
What is the catch weight? Like what
a bit. I think it's about 95 kilograms. So heavyweight
is that the max?
No, so the max is about 120. But none of the fighters in the sim have picked that. I've put them at that weight because it's just too slow. Like, you'll never win a fight in a simulation. You've got to change the stats slightly to make it more entertaining and more fair for everybody. So that's what's happened there. But Nanai and Malchus are significantly heavier than Reynolds and Vredo at this stage.
So sorry, what archetype did these two people choose? Sorry, I kind of.
Boxing is Reynolds and wrestling is Vredo, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
That's interesting.
yeah.
I think Vredo could really prove himself as the Broncos captain if he won. So, I don't know. Reynolds he was just a rookie this season, but you just never know.
Alright,
Yeah.
predictions, boys.
I'm going to go Vredo. I think they're very similar. I think Reynolds has him on probably power and weight and most likely reach. But I think if Vareto's trained, if they've both trained as hard as each other, I think Vareto's wrestling is just going to be too much for Reynolds.
Well, Reynolds, Breto's the favourite here, isn't he? For sure, right? He'd be the favourite, or was it Reynolds?
Reynolds is the favourite just because it's more towards his natural weight, which is why he's been picked as the betting favourite. I went
Jeez.
for Vredo in my podcast.
I'm gonna go an upset. I'm gonna go not an upset, but I'm gonna go what most people wouldn't. I'm gonna go Reynolds to win this one. Well, I think this one won't be a knockout. I reckon Redo will probably just have had enough in the last round, and he will win by submission. Reynolds. That's my prediction. So Reynolds by submission in the 5th round.
I'm going Reynolds. I'm gonna go Reynolds. I'm gonna go something different. I'm gonna go Reynolds. Round to submission. Submission.
That's all right. I think I went Vredo by submission as well. I can't remember the round I did, but upon talking about it, I can definitely see Reynolds ending the fight as well. I definitely think he can chip Vredo away with his reach. So because I'm split, I'm just going to go Vredo by decision.
Alright. So, do you want to move to the next fight now?
Yep.
This is my fight. Ryan v. Butler.
Oh, two halves rivals. This is going to be good. So what do we know about these fighters? Anything much?
Yep. Liam Ryan, who we've got in call, obviously, he's been training jiu-jitsu. Charlie Butler, kickboxing. He's been really working hard on his kickboxing.
Well, you said all the fighters have like their own different archetype, is it?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly which archetype specifically they've chosen. I'd be able to tell you if I had the form with me, but I don't at the moment, unfortunately.
So everyone has a different one, or does some people have the same?
Some people do have picked the same. Like a lot of the boxers have picked the same boxing archetype. Liam Ryan's the only person with this specific jiu-jitsu archetype, though.
I don't mind it. Might be something a bit different.
Yeah, he's definitely trained unorthodox and with his unorthodoxity. Yeah, I think that we're going to see something a bit special from him.
I don't know. I don't mind this jiu-jitsu decision by Liam. Something a bit different. But what about Charlie?
He's really accurate. One thing that I've been seeing a lot in his training and his sparring that I've been watching, because I've been going to everybody's training, is his accuracy is one of his biggest traits. Jabbing and roundhouse kicks, really accurate. So he's going to throw a big volume of strikes because he's very fit too. So there's going to be volume and there's going to be accuracy. So there's going to be Ryan will most likely sustain a lot of striking. It'll be interesting to see how he can hold up from that.
Damn. Okay. I don't know. I feel like this one will be quite an interesting fight because you got two very different like styles, if that makes sense. So yeah.
It's just who can. It's a simple sport with just lots of different ways to do it. It's just whoever can implement their game plan. Whoever can Ryan drag Butler to the ground, but Ryan also needs to make sure he strikes because if he doesn't and the ground game fails, Charlie Butler will eat him alive. So,
Kickboxing is always something you got to watch out for, really, because you get too close, they'll just can give you a kick in the head, give you a little wake up. But jiu-jitsu is a lot of close combat, trying to really create holds and all, grappling them. And what you've really got to watch out for Liam is going to be the fact that Butler's going to be focusing more on ranged because he has that range in kickboxing, and because he's so accurate, when you go for a submission hold, you've got to watch out.
Yeah, you've just about hit the nail on the head there, talking about range, which is something I haven't touched on too much, but range in this situations are very important.
Yeah, for sure. I think this fight will be one of the better ones because you got two really interesting styles. So I don't think you could say these boxes are like any other boxes on the fight card. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what I'd say. But
What was the
yeah, what do we think,
what was
boys?
the thoughts on why are these two why am I fighting Butler? What was the thinking behind that?
A combination of half versus half, and then also it's just the fight that made sense to get a Parramatta guy into the card. We thought that we could get him against you, so that's essentially where it came from.
I kind of wanted to fight one Parker midway through the season, but that didn't happen.
Well,
He's
you
also
know what, man? You win, you can pick your opponents. It's pretty much that simple in a lot of ways. Like they call you out, like they'll want the winner. With that being said, too, Juan's somebody that's going to want to fight soon, and he'll be coming in looking for one, and he'll be looking for somebody that's lost as well. So, if you lose the fight, there's always a rookie, a debutant who needs to earn his place as well that you can go down and fight. So.
Another thing you've got to make sure you do is not let Butler get under your skin, because he is a bit of a niggler. He likes to try to agitate people sometimes. So I think
I know Butler tries to do that. I'm not worried with that anymore.
Yeah, you just gotta.
Sure about that, Liam? I feel like you could maybe just fall under all the pressure that he gives you. I don't know.
I did that
Or you,
last season, but now I'm cool with him. I don't care what he says.
I think all of these fights have kind of got some sort of meaning behind them as to why they're happening. Like some are straight out rivalries, like the Collins Bell. You could even say Malchus Nanai is, but I don't know. Some of them, you have to think a bit more as to why they're on the card. But I guess they've all got some sort of meaning.
100%. Your Smith and Morrison's your rookie bout. Taya vs Moana, two wingers. Reynolds and Vredo, they've got a bit of a rivalry, but it's also just a fight that made sense, to be honest.
Yep.
And then
and Ryan Butler's the halves, Colin Spell, former teammates, some serious rivalry between them, and then Malchus Nanai. We touched on that. But what's your predictions for this one?
I can't predict. I'm playing. Because I'll just be biased.
I honestly can't remember what I predicted. Go for it, bro.
I'm gonna have a bit of bias here. I'm gonna go with my mate Liam. He's gonna get the dub. I think this one will be by decision though. I think it's gonna be it'll be a really back and forth fight. Each fighter will have their moments, but Liam will just prevail in the final round. That's my prediction. Liam, you're not gonna predict.
Yeah, I'm not predicting because I'll just be biased. That's the thing.
Don't think Josh is here. Yeah, he's not here. And Jack, what do you reckon for this one?
Oh, I honestly cannot remember who I picked in my podcast as well. Looking at it, I think as long as Liam does throw strikes and fights with Butler, I think he's got a much more diverse arsenal to use against Charlie if he can strike, as I said. So I'll go Liam Ryan by decision as well.
What's
Yeah,
striking?
sure.
Is striking like where they punch?
Punching, kicking.
Kicking, isn't it?
Yeah. Punching, kicking, elbows, knees, all that fun stuff.
As long as Liam handles the pressure from Charlie, he should be good. Just don't get caught up in the niggles. That's all.
100%.
All right, we'll move on.
Two
this is
fights
for our
left.
fifth fight.
Smith v Morrison.
Which one? Smith. Okay, so it's the rookie. It's the rookie bout.
Yep.
This one should be interesting.
Yep. So Huey Smith, he's trained boxing with the zoo camp a lot. Whereas Jacob Morrison, he's gone completely quiet. Essentially, I've come and watched him train, but he hasn't gone with any real professionals. He's gone and trained with a private kickboxing gym in Canberra. So he's focused on kickboxing. But
Okay.
I'm seeing the people he's fighting. He's fighting some top notch opponents in sparring, and he's dealing with them quite well too. So he's prepared really well, as has Huey.
So Morrison's keeping more away from the media in a sense.
Yeah, it's easy
Yeah.
when you're in Canberra too, to be fair, just to sort of slip under the radar a bit. Whereas Huey, he's right in the middle of Sydney, he's in Parramatta, so
Yep. Fair enough.
Huey's got the really big height and reach advantage. Morrison's got a small weight advantage, but this is going to be a striking clinic from both fighters, so it's going to be really interesting to see who can implement their striking effectively.
So Morrison will be the quicker one and a bit more slick, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but Huey's definitely not a slow guy either. So Huey's just going to have to use his reach and height to his advantage, keep Morrison at bay with his jab and score points, and probably look to finish the fight if he can.
Yeah, I mean, these two both had pretty good rookie seasons. They weren't rookie of the season, but they definitely solid in their first season in the SRL.
Yeah, they both have had some really good moments this season too. Like Huey Smith's obviously got the record for kick meters in a game. Jacob Morrison's exploded as one of the best centers in the
I didn't really
competition, in my
notice
opinion.
Jacob Morrison, to be honest.
I noticed him heaps, but I also play with him,
Yeah.
so that doesn't help.
I think he was
He was okay.
I think he was a very solid player for the Raiders.
I don't know with him. I only saw one game where he really exploded. Other than that, Jacob Morrison seemed a little quiet.
Fair play.
Well, Morrison, he's your only teammate in the whole fight. That's right, isn't it, Jack? He's your only teammate across all 12 fighters.
Fight night one. Yep.
Yep. So you'll be rooting for him, obviously.
Yeah, but if Huey Smith wins, he wins, and I'll be very happy for him because I've seen how much work he's put into this as well. So it's just two good blokes who are going to go to war.
Yeah, this one will be interesting. I don't know. I might for my prediction, I might go Jacob Morrison, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just hearing, he's kind of keeping to himself. Not really saying a whole lot to the media. I think that might be beneficial for him. So I'm tipping Morrison here. I'm going to stay in the fourth round
They're
by
3-round
submission.
fights. Just to interrupt and annoy you, they're 3-round fights. So only the two main events are 5-round fights. The undercard are all 3 rounds. So
So only Reynolds,
Vredo
and Reynolds versus Vredo and Malchus versus Nanai are the only 5 rounds. Is that right?
No, so Reynolds versus Vredo is 3 rounds. Collins Bell is 5, and Malchus Nanai is 5. Because realistically, Vredo isn't guaranteed the belt. Like there isn't a guaranteed belt for either fighters in that fight, which is why we haven't made it a 5-round championship bout.
Right, makes sense. Okay, well, I'll change my prediction and I'll go. Let's go Morrison by submission in the 3rd round. Then I guess.
Interesting. I'm going Huey Smith by round 3 knockout. I just think he's got the advantages, height and reach, and big advantages at that. I'm not ever going to doubt Jacob Morrison. And I think I might have tipped him in my podcast. I honestly can't remember, but I just think Huey's going to use those weapons to
I just
keep
don't
Morrison
mind.
at bay.
I don't mind what Jacob Morrison's been doing. So
I'm gonna go with Jacob Morrison to prove himself as a top center and a top. They are both centers, so it's proven themselves that he's the better rookie in season 2. So I'm gonna go Jacob Morrison round 1 knockout. I think. I don't see Huey standing a chance.
Sorry, what were their archetypes again? Sorry.
Boxer for Smith and kickboxer for Morrison.
Gonna Gonna go knockout round 4 for Morrison.
No, there's no. It's only round. It's only three. It's
Three
three
rounds,
It's
rounds.
a
Is there only
three-rounder.
3? Oh, well,
Yeah.
third round.
Yep. I do think the other thing that these two boys have got going for them as well is they've got that desire to prove themselves, as Liam said before, because when you're looking at the lightweights and who's next, realistically, Collins versus Bell, the loser is going to fight the most impressive lightweight on this card for the next title shot at the winner of the title, if that makes sense. So you've got Ryan and Butler and Taya versus Moana, and they're the ones who I'm hearing the most talk about for that next lightweight shot against the loser of the championship fight. But Smith and Morrison, they put in a good performance. All of a sudden, they're right up there too. So,
Well, we'll move on. Taya versus Moana is the last fight we've got to speak about.
Yeah, big toe. I love
Yeah,
toe.
Moana, future star award. He picked that up last week. Congrats to him. But I don't know. Maybe he'd be looking to back it up with a win here as well. He's been really good in his rookie season, Moana.
Yeah, well, Damien's already told me that unless things might change after this fight, but this will be his only fight in the code. He wants to focus on rugby league, so he'll be wanting to
That's
put in a good
interesting.
performance.
Yeah.
Whereas, as far as I can tell, as far as I can tell, Sonny is really motivated to try and go far in this sport. So that might be a bit of a telling factor as well.
I've got a feeling these two have been a bit more like Morrison. They've been a bit more quiet with their training and stuff. Is that right? Probably not, but
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, I haven't heard much from them at all. I've gone and watched both of them train. Moana, he's a real balanced fighter. He's picked a balanced archetype, whereas Taya's really focused on boxing, and you're going to see that power tomorrow night. He's really powerful, whereas Moana's really come with a defensive mindset.
the balanced archetype would mean just they got all their stats the same. Is that about right?
Sort of. It's sort
They're
of just
balanced,
like everything's a bit average. So, not average in a bad
Okay.
way, but ground game's average and stand-up's average, rather than being excellent at stand-up and poor at ground game and vice versa.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. What's like the weight and height? Who's got that advantage?
They're about the same height and reach. But Taya has got a small weight advantage, and I think he's got a bit of a strength advantage too, to be honest. I think he's really powerful, and he's going to go out there with a vengeance.
I'm sorry to ask this again, but what are their archetypes?
Sonny's boxer, and Moana's balanced.
Balanced. Ooh.
So an all-arounder, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Taya will probably try and be top dog here because he's been around the SRL for 2 seasons. He's been to a couple of clubs, Taya, hasn't he? He was at the Storm, and then he went to the Panthers, and now he's going to the Raiders for season 3. While on the other side, Moana was at the Warriors. He wasn't here in season 1, but in season 2 was at the Warriors, and going to the Cowboys for season 3. So these two kind of moving clubs a bit, but I think Taya will be looking to improve himself, and he's got that weight advantage which we spoke about. So I don't know, that'd be pretty important in my opinion.
Yep. Just to give you that early prediction, Sonny, he really wants that title shot. He wants the loser of this upcoming belt, and I think he'll win by a knockout inside 2 rounds. He's gonna knock out Moana, and I believe he will set up the fight with the loser of Collins and Bell to fight the winner in the next SRL fight night. If that makes sense.
That'd actually be pretty cool, to be honest. I like Taya too myself, to be honest. I think he's got too much going for him, and he'll try and win this and show himself as a real weapon within the SRL fighting arena. So I'm going to back him to get a knockout in the 3rd round. Oh, we're just talking about Taya versus Moana. Doing our predictions.
Taya's got a big power advantage, whereas Moana's a bit more of an all-arounder. Sonny's also really motivated to take the loser of the upcoming title fight to try and set himself up for a title bout in the next few events. Honestly, I think it was just an entertainment factor, just to add to that rivalry, the fact that there was a belt on the line. Like Smith versus Morrison, they're rookies, they need to earn their place, and that's the other thing. Collins and Bell, they've been here longer than most, and they've earned themselves roles, like
And
positions
plus,
to be up there
they've arguably got the biggest rivalry out of anyone fighting. So
without a doubt, they do.
yeah.
No, there's a couple that come to mind. Mark Iron, he's him, yeah. Mark's got a couple opponents that he could definitely come to fight.
Myself, I don't really have too many issues with anyone, but
Which is a good thing.
you could put me up against some of those big forwards and I'd take them on, or even just some second rows.
Yeah.
Like the guy that comes to mind would be Attila Settendag. I'd love to take him on because I actually know him pretty well. So
Attila's definitely going to be in the next couple fight nights, if not the fight nights, then in the contender series, which I talked about in my podcast. So essentially, debutantes who can't quite make the fight night, because the fight night definitely prioritizes fighters who have already fought, and also fighters with losing records who need some good wins. It's again, there's limited commentary, and it's smaller crowds, not many advertisements, less payout, but it's a really good way to get your name out there a bit more, and also improve
essentially
your
a
record.
reserve grade.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but yeah. What do you reckon? What do you guys reckon for this fight? I know you already said Jack. What do you reckon, Liam, for this Taya Moana fight? Ooh. Is Moana the only balanced in the whole fight card out of everyone? Jack?
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, is Moana the only balanced the only one that picked the balanced archetype out of anyone on the
Yep,
fight card?
that is correct.
Interesting. Oh yeah, that wraps it up. We might quickly do like what's our favorite fight to like we're most looking forward to.
Got to be Bell
For
versus
me,
Collins. For
I think
me,
that's an obvious one, but I'm actually going to go something a bit different. I'm going to go it's a tie to be honest. I'm going to tie between the two big fights between Reynolds and Vredo and Malchus versus Nana. I can see both of them being really good fights personally.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for all the fights. To be honest, it's such a good thing you're doing. So
yeah. Thanks, man.
yeah. Liam, you got a fight in particular? I mean, you've got your own, but you're gonna stick around and watch the other fights after yours, or actually, I don't know where you're you're fourth apparently. I think. Yep, fair enough. Um, yeah, for sure. Well, that's just about it, and that's also the end of SRL 180 for 2021 too. That's it.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I've enjoyed it, but yeah, the time's got to come to an end. It's time for someone else to join the club. And yeah, congrats to them, whoever it is. We're in the process of working it out, but yeah, really enjoyed my time doing this. But yeah, that's it. It's been a really good year of SRL. Started back in May, and it's come this far that we're still doing it a week out from Christmas. So really good to see. Um, Yeah, and a big Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to all our fans listening in. Yeah. And we've got it's basically we're building simulation leagues off a simulation league. We got cricket sims, we got other footy sims, we got this. Oh, no. And I think the main person we thank, and we thank him every week, is SRL Comish. The work he does is just amazing, incredible. So, I mean, he had SRL in the works in October last year because that's when the server was created. So he spent October to May essentially working things out. So 7 months.
Pretty
That's
massive,
that's
man.
that's great work. We love to see it. Comish has been a legend. Come on the show a few times. But yeah, it's been really good. SRL 180 this year. Got to have lots of special guests like yourself, Jack, and plenty others. We've also had our other hosts on the show. So that's myself, Liam, who's here, and the other two who aren't here currently in Butters and Tim, or Butterfield. Well, Josh Butterfield and Tim, James. So yeah, been a really good year, and thanks for it, boys.
No worries, man. Good
Yeah.
job on everything you've done with us. With the concept. Hopefully, whoever comes in next is going to do just as good a job.
Yep. All right. Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. I mean, you gotta have all these. You gotta have lots of different things just to get people into it and interested and stuff. It's really cool. So,
Yeah, 100%. All right, I've got to run, lads. So,
nah, it's all good. All right. Cool. We'll see you, Joe.
right, thanks, brothers. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. All good. Merry Christmas.
You too,
Yeah.
boys.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it, Liam? So we're done. And a happy new year. So late January, early February, I think you boys will be back. Something like that. With a new host. I will not be here. I'll still come on for guests. I'll still come on for interviews though. Won't miss that. The world. Love the interviews. So yeah. Sounds good. Alright, cool.